Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, I've been doing some testing on a smoke generator because they claim to be cold smoke generators. This one doesn't have a name. It just says cold smoke generator user manual. But the thing I've been finding out is when I hook this to my smoker, even with the smoker off, I'm still getting 100-degree temperature inside the smoker. And it's not even on. So my theory is this is not technically a cold smoker because there's heat coming out of this thing. The longer it burns, the hotter it's going to get. And I'm going to test this thing with a temperature probe. And we're going to turn it on, and as you can see, it generates a ton of smoke, and I've got it set for 500 degrees, and we're going to take the probe and we're going to insert it in this tube where the smoke's coming out, and you can already see that the temperature is 120 degrees coming out of that tube. So that tells me that is not a cold smoker. Now here's the problem, and let me show you the problem in a nutshell. This is a dome for smoking cheese, and inside this dome I have a probe, and we're going to take this probe, which is already, as you can see, at 127 degrees. And it's just barely in there, see? It's not in there very far. So it's 131 degrees coming out of that tube. So that means it can heat your grill up to as much as 130, 140 degrees. We're already at 135. So let's do this. Let's take the probe out, and let's slide the cheese dome over. And we're going to put the smoke tube in the cheese dome. It's a little hard to get it in there. There we go. Now, I have another probe already in there, and we're going to turn this one on, and we're going to set it for well, and let's see if I've got it set right. It's already, let's see, there we go. I've got it set for 170 to set the alarm off, and we're at 93 degrees inside the cheese smoke dome, as you can see, and we're climbing. So what's going to happen is if you put cheese in there and you let it run, it's going to heat it up. I mean, it's just really, really going to heat it up. So the only thing you can do is put some smoke in there and turn it off. You can't just. And I'm using this as an example because if you put it on your grill and you let it run, it's going to heat your grill up. Inside there, we're already at 106 degrees. And as you can see, it smokes really well. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to disconnect this, and we're going to move it over. And we're going to let this smoke out. Woo! Woo! It smokes really well, trust me. But, golly. Let me turn the fan on. Can't turn the fan on, I got fire on it. Anyway, what I've come up with is this. Let me get some of this smoke out of here. Woo! That's a lot of smoke. Now, what I came up with is this idea. I took a bucket, 2-gallon bucket, and put ice in it. Now I got a tube that runs in and down in the ice. So if we turn this off or down like that, so I can get in here and hook it up. Technically, my theory is we're going to take this tube off, just like this, and we're going to hook this bucket with ice in it if I can get over there. Woo! Okay, we're going to hook this up just like this. Now, the smoke is going in the bucket. Now, on the other side, we're going to take this tube that we took out right here, and we're going to put it in this bucket with the ice feeding into it. So, now we're going to take a lid, just like this right here. As you can see, the bucket's got smoke in it. See? We're going to put the lid on the bucket, and I have a probe that I can put in there. So we're going to seal the bucket, just like this, with the ice in it. And then we're going to put this in probe number 2, just like this. And we're going to stick it in here, just like this. And we're going to wait a minute. And then we're going to take probe number 1, which was the probe that we stuck in this tube and got a reading. And we're going to stick it in the outcoming tube here to get a reading of how cold or how hot the smoke is. The reading in the bucket is so low it won't even register. That's how cold it is. Now, the probe coming out of the bucket, check it out. It is dropping dramatically. 64, 63, 61. It is coming down fast. 59. That is crazy. So, technically, what I have done now, and we're going to take this probe, which is at 54 degrees coming out of the tube, 54 degrees, 52 degrees, and still coming down. Now remember, the bucket probe here is so cold that it won't even register. So we're going to pull it up like that and see if we can get a reading at the top of the bucket to see what the temperature up here is. We're at 52, look, 16 degrees inside the bucket, 18 degrees, and that's at the top. That's not even in the ice. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this probe out, and that smoke is cold coming out of there. And we're going to hook it into the cheese dome, just like this. It's a little aggravating to get in there. I've already put it in 2 or 3 times. I should be used to it. There we go. Now, we're going to let that go. And we're going to check the temperature reading here on the probe that's inside the cheese dome. So now you got your generator generating smoke going into the bucket. Probe 2 is at 41 degrees. That's at the top of the bucket right here. So the smoke is going down in the ice, chilling out, and then coming out up here at 72 degrees, which is really a huge difference. Now, the smoke going into the smoke dome is at 83 degrees. Now, this unit is hot. This bucket is good and cool. The pipe over here is cold. So if you can keep your temperature below 100, your cheese won't melt. So, and technically, this is not a cold smoker because it puts out heat. Y'all saw the heat it put out earlier. Now this is probe 2. Probe 2 is 57 degrees in that bucket. 57 degrees. This probe is not in anything. It's just stuck out here. So now we got a reading on this probe that's inside the cheese dome of 81 degrees. So now this is technically a cold smoker, as you can see. Everything is, sorry about that, it's train. It's going from the smoke generator to the bucket of ice, from the bucket of ice into the cheese dome. And the smoke in the cheese dome is coming down. It's at 80 degrees, as you can see right here. This is the high temperature I've got it set at. This is the temperature inside the cheese dome. This right here, probe 2, is 59 degrees in that bucket. That's a cold smoker. Anyway, now if we take the bucket back off like this, so I can get it off without knocking everything over. There we go. Then we stick this probe back in here. Look how much, look at the reading we're getting. That's probe 1. That is in the smoke generator. We're at 170 degrees. Let me move this over here. We're at 180 degrees coming out of the smoke generator. So technically, a smoke generator is not a cold smoker because anything above 100 degrees is going to melt your cheese. We're at 185 degrees coming out of the smoker. We're at 61 degrees inside the ice bucket. Huge drop, 50% drop. Now, there's nothing going into the bucket right now, but check that out. We're at 190 degrees coming out of the smoke generator. So all this heat's going inside your grill, going inside your smoker, and technically it will heat your smoker up. It'll take a while, but it'll do it. And if your cheese is close by, it's gonna melt. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I gotta get all this out of here. I'm up here on the porch and I'm just covering everything up in smoke. And here's the thing about it. That's actually on low because that's high. So on low, we're pulling out 181 degrees out of the generator. So we turn it up on high, you're going to get even more heat because it's going to burn hotter. It's going to pull more heat through there. Our temperature in the ice bucket at the top right now is 66 degrees. Now probe 1, I don't have it in anything, so it's reading different readings. But the probe in the cheese dome is at 76 degrees, and that's on high. So that's working really, really well. As long as we stay below 100, we're okay. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there and show y'all that A lot of people are advertising this as coal smokers. Technically they are, but they're not, because you've seen the temperatures go as high as 200 degrees. So on high, if I take this ice bucket back off and we put probe 1 in here, look at the reading already. 170, 180, 190, 200, and it just keeps going. 212, 220. So when a smoke generator is on high, I have no idea exactly how hot it can get, but we're at 235 degrees right now coming out of the smoke generator. That's how much heat that it's producing. We're at 240. So that means it could heat your grill up to 240 plus degrees because it's still climbing. We're at 241 and it's kind of leveled out a little bit. 243. Here we go again. I have no idea. This is the first time I've run this test. Anyway, there you go. We're looking at 244, 245, 240, say just 245 degrees coming out of a smoke generator that's supposed to be a cold smoker. That technically it's not. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching this, and you know, if you got any questions and I can answer them, I'll be more than glad to. Even on high, you can see there's ice in the bucket. It's all the way up to here, but it's melting fast. At 240 degrees, yeah, it's still full. Anyway, that's at 245 degrees coming out of the smoker, going into the ice bucket, and the ice bucket at the top, right here, is at 68 degrees. And then the cheese dome itself is at 74 degrees, which is fantastic because you could really leave your cheese in there and smoke the crap out of it. Alright, if you got any questions, let me know. And I know there's a lot of you out there that's going to say, you know, this is all negative, false, whatever, but there it is, put out there for you to decide if this is actually a real coal smoker or not. Now, this is just a theory I come up with to make the smoker actually be a coal smoker. There's probably better methods, and I'm sure some of you have those ideas, and if you do, let's see them, because I'd like to see it. I'd like to get the cheese dome down to about 50 degrees, but right now, let's open this up and just see what's going on inside here. And as you can see, the smoke is in there and doing its thing. And the smoke in here is good and cool. I mean, it's not ice cold, but it's cool. Yeah, it's real cool. So yeah, it works. And it's just a simple bucket. I picked up 2-gallon bucket at Home Depot and run the tube into the bucket and down to about right here so that it'll be in the ice, and then the smoke comes up from the bottom and goes out. That tube over there is straight in, so it goes straight out into the cheese dome. And the one thing I didn't do is this. Yeah. The actual smoke inside the cheese dome is actually cool. Look, 72 degrees right there. Alright, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and let me know what you think about this video and making this as much of a coal smoker as I could come up with. And we'll see y'all in the next video.